This makeup look is a choice. I know. I am working on some beauty tutorials and some hair tutorials for you guys. And while I was looking through like my makeup to see like what I want to talk to you guys about, I found a pilot. Cause I got freaking, if you guys watch my Bachelor reviews, I got freaking Pilot Peter on the mind because I heard that there's a rumor going around that he's the next Bachelor. We just get cornier and cornier. Nice guy, but please. Anyway, I found a makeup palette that I hadn't used in a minute, and it was just like I rediscovered it again. I was like swatching it, and so if you see stuff on my hands, I was swatching makeup. And then I just started playing in it, and I got a little carried away. Not saying this is a bad look. I'm just saying this is a little dramatic for what we're about to do. Enough of my dramatic makeup choices. Let's get into it. So, you guys have not been laying off me in the comments section about my wrap-up review of Life After Lockup. And you guys were just like, Michael was talking to some girl, like, why didn't you talk about that? And guys, to be quite honest with you, I missed it because I watched this show through my DVR. Listen, I am single and I am young, okay? I am not home on a Friday night. So I watched this probably Saturday morning on my DVR, and I fast forward through the commercials, and I think I just fast forwarded a bit too far, and I missed this section where Michael is on the phone with some woman who sounds very seasoned. I was like, how old is this woman? Does he have another sugar mama? He got a white sugar mama, a black sugar mama, and now he got an elderly sugar mama. I was listening to the conversation, and to me, guys, it didn't seem contrived, but it did seem like Michael liked the fact that he was talking to this girl on camera because there was no reason for him to answer the phone. He didn't have to. He could have waited till he was done filming this show or waited till the cameras left and started talking to the girl on the phone, but he wanted to answer this phone call. So anyway, he's talking about Megan and how Megan is unfaithful to her, and he answers this phone call, and the girl is like, oh, hey, how you doing? I just got finished taking the kids to the playground or whatever. And I was like, the kids? And he was like, oh yeah, okay, cool. And he's like, all right, well, I'll talk to you later. And he hangs up the phone with her, and the producer is just like, well, who was that? And he's like, oh, it's just some female that called at the wrong time. And then he gave this little smirk, like he enjoyed it. Michael enjoys this attention. The woman was talking to him about the kids. I was just like, you took that information about her having kids real easy. So either you've already known that she has kids or one of them kids are yours. Michael. I just feel so sorry for Sarah. She was on for 2 seasons crying about how that's her husband, that's her best friend. And I'm like, honey, he was none of that to you. He was not your husband. He was not your best friend. He was really just tricking out your body for babies. Like, to be quite honest with you, I feel bad for that girl. But then y'all told me that she goes on live and she defends this dude. So this whole situation is just so sad and so messy, so ridiculous, so unnecessary. And I cannot wait for this cast to come back next season. I don't know what WeTV is going to do because the cast of Life After Lockup was such a huge hit. I don't think this new cast of Love After Lockup is testing that well because everybody was so enamored with the characters from the last cast. I don't know what they're going to do. It's like WeTV, you got to milk this cast. They are a huge moneymaker for you. The fans love them, and I heard that the ratings are not the same for this Love After Lockup that it was for last season. So I don't know. If WeTV doesn't come back with this original cast at the latest in January 2020, it's going to be such a missed bag for them. What do you guys think? Who do you think that Michael was talking to on the phone? Do you think it was like, you know, a baby mama? Or do you think it was just another woman that was holding him down when he was in prison? It could be both. Let us know in the comment section below. So let's talk about Cheryl and Josh. So this episode, Cheryl is going to see Josh. I believe he's getting paroled in Colorado, and she doesn't live there. So she's going to go and stay in Colorado while he's paroled out there for 3 months, guys. 3 months. She is leaving her children for 3 months to go visit or live with her bank robbing boyfriend that she met online and she has never met in person. She's leaving her children for 3 months with, can we be real, her sickly parents who don't even want to watch them kids. The parents do not want to watch them children, but they really have no choice. And I'm just like, where are the fathers? Where are these kids' fathers? You know what? I'm so ghetto. I said fathers. I didn't assume that Cheryl got multiple baby fathers. But is it a wrong assumption? I'm thinking, if you're a good dad and your kid's mother, who you are not with, decides to leave your children for 3 months with 2 sickly grandparents, wouldn't you want to go get your children? I don't know. Not only would I want my kids, I would be filing for sole custody because obviously she doesn't make the best decisions. But it seemed like the dude she got to father these kids are probably the same thing as Josh. A mess. A mess and not well. She is not well because she is sitting over here talking about this wedding ring or this engagement ring that she bought for herself. Her bank robbing boyfriend, who apparently is not a very good bank robber, does not have any money to buy her an engagement ring. So what does she do? She sends him pictures of the ring that he wants to give to her for their engagement, and he selects the ring that he wants to give her, but she had to pay for it. This don't make no sense. You know what? Can we be real here? Not every prisoner is LeMond. And let's be real here, Cheryl. You didn't pay for that ring. We did. Cheryl's mother has poor taste because when Cheryl was trying on, she took her mom to go with her to try on wedding dresses. I guess she wants to get her wedding dress before she meets Josh because I think she believes that they're going to get married right away. It looks like apparently they're not together, or it could be an old picture because this is why I don't snoop. When I start snooping on these characters, I be finding stuff that kind of spoils the show for me. You know what? Do I want to say this to you guys? You know what? I am. Here is why. I don't know if it's true. It could just be alleged, but I found a little something that Josh was all on some girl's Instagram. I don't know if it's old. I don't know if it's old, but he was all up on this girl's Instagram, and this girl is not Cheryl. So we don't know if they're married or if they didn't get married. I just know that I saw him hugged up with some girl that was not Cheryl. It could be old though, guys. It could be old. So apparently Cheryl is getting this wedding dress because when she finally sees Josh for the first time, they are going to get married. So she's looking at these dresses and her mom is just like hating on the best dress in my opinion. She put on this beautiful sparkly wedding dress and I'm telling you, it just changed her whole look. Cheryl lit up like a Christmas tree. She looks so beautiful. And her mom is just like, "Ma, it's too much of a dress." Then the other dress, then she put on this other dress that was horrible. Her mom was just like, "I don't like that one either." But you know what? Now that I think about it, maybe her mom is just trying to sabotage, you know, this whole wedding dress thing and just maybe put negative thoughts in her mind about the whole Josh situation. Because later her mother starts crying and she's just like, "I don't want you to be in love with a prisoner." And I get it. I honestly get it. I'm just shocked that this is the first time she has dated a prisoner. You know what I mean? I just feel like, I don't know, by the looks of Cheryl's family, I'm like, you guys are acting not how you look. You know what I mean? I'm not saying just because, you know, you come from not a lot of money that you should be used to like felons and felonious behavior. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying Cheryl's family gives me like a prisoner family. Like they give me like they be scamming the system. Well, you know what? Can I just say it? Cheryl's family gives me welfare fraud. Welfare fraud. That's exactly what they give me. And that's probably what they're doing. Cheryl, you didn't said on national TV that you sending $30,000 to a prisoner, that you're spending thousands of dollars on an engagement ring. Sis, the IRS is watching. And if that stuff don't match up, you and that family going to prison. Again, can we be real? They give me welfare fraud, guys. They give me welfare fraud. And also, can we talk about this home that Cheryl is leaving her kids in? Because as she's packing up to leave, her child is in a diaper just playing on this filthy ground, and then the camera shoots up and we see that somebody has a wheelchair. I'm like, who the hell is in a wheelchair? Is there another person there in the wheelchair? Or is one of the parents using a wheelchair? Like, what is going on? You're leaving your kids for 3 months in this filthy home with 2 very sick parents. Cheryl. You know what? She let us know that she was obsessed with serial killers. So, you know, why are we shocked? Speaking of serial killers, guys, I done found out snooping again. So I'm not going to snoop anymore because I feel like I found out too much information and I don't want the season to be spoiled for me. But I found Josh, he wrote not a tell-all, but he wrote like some like action drama book, and it's on Amazon for like, hold on, let me see if I can find it. Hold on. It's on Amazon for $14.95, and the book is called Message in Blood. And Cheryl actually found Josh through a blog that he was writing about being close to a serial killer, because Cheryl was searching like serial killers, and that's how she found Josh. And so when I was snooping, I found the blog, and I also found a book that he wrote, which we'll talk about. Message in Blood is a story of justice. Jace White is getting out of prison after doing 6 years for bank robbery. His mom's voice over the phone gives him a bad feeling about it. Upon release, his worst fears are realized. His baby sister has been murdered. Now, full of grief and burning anger, Jace has to get down to business and find out who killed his sister and everyone else who was involved. However, Jace did not do all that prison time without making some like-minded friends who rally him with an undying loyalty that only having each other's backs for years in prison can forge. Leaving a trail of blood and bodies and a mile wide, Jace found out who called the shot that killed his sister, and it's the last person he would have ever expected. And Jace White is the last person you would ever want to know that you were the reason his little sister was killed. Listen, I wouldn't read it, but I will watch it. This sounds good. This could be one of those independent films about, white people from Boston. Ben Affleck. This has Ben Affleck written all over it. I will watch this. Josh got something good on his hands, but let's get to the reviews. Ciao. So one person wrote, Susan L. Jack. The book was a real page turner, unpredictable and very genuine to people that live that lifestyle. It gives you an inside look into the way of life that most people don't know about. That was probably Josh's mother. Then we have this one from an Amazon customer. The grammar makes me want to kick puppies in the head. Storyline is okay. I just wish it was more relatable. And then we have the last review from a guy named Juan. This story gives you a whole new perspective. I would certainly recommend reading. Josh, you got a little something here. Like, I'm telling you, I went to this book fully prepared to be like, woo chow, the ghetto. I read the description and I was just like, you know what? Real talk. I would not read it. Who has the time? But I will watch something like this. This seems really, really good. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a movie out of it, especially with the connections he's going to make with this show. I just started looking through the pictures of the book, and can I tell you that Josh, the author's picture is a picture of Josh in prison. Like, he didn't even send like a glamour shot of when he was free. It's just a prison photo of him. If I can get it off of, what, can I do that? They copyright me? No, I ain't gonna do that. Y'all go look. I'm gonna put the link for the book in my description box so you guys can go check it out for yourself and read it and see what it's like. I might check it out. If I can find somebody who's subscribed to Kindle, I might just, take it up and read it and maybe do a dramatic reading on here. Who knows? If I have the time, I'll definitely will. I'll check back with you guys and let you know if that's something that I'll do. But listen, I'm proud of Josh. He's doing something. He's not good at robbing banks, but maybe he's good at writing books. Josh, use your connections with this show and develop this into a movie. I'd watch it. If it's not turned into an independent film, I can definitely see it being on the ID channel. And you guys know that I love the ID channel. Vincent and Amber. Vincent and Amber are definitely Brittany and Marcelino 2.0. I do agree with you guys there, but he still gives me a bit of Clint, and I don't know what it is. And I think it's also the way his mother treats him. Because Clint with his mother, she treats him a certain way that it's like, how a parent knows that something is not quite right with their child? That parent who's just like, will warn you about their kids. Like, if you got a girlfriend and just like, oh, hey girl, I'm in the neighborhood, I was just gonna stop by. Oh girl, I would love for you to come over, but my son is here. You know what that means. Something ain't right with my son, so I'll meet you at a Starbucks. We can't meet here. We all know people like that, where it's just like, don't leave my son in the room. You know what I mean? So I think that's why I get that from Vincent, because his mom, the way she talks about him and the way she treats him is just like, she knows what we aren't being told, but we can see it. I'm Italian and Mexican. Hey. The mother knows something up. So Vincent is in the car with Amber, driving to Puppy's mother's house. We'll get into Puppy's mother in a second. So anyway, he's driving her there and Puppy calls. And the way Amber lit up, like as soon as she heard Puppy's voice, she just lit up like a Christmas tree. And I was just like, you know why she's lighting up like that? Because she's a lesbian. Vincent. You have got to wake up, bro. You have got to wake up. It is so apparent there. She's talking about how much she loves her. She's talking about how this girl was her wife. She's so beautiful. She has yet to talk about Vincent like this. Very apparent to me that Vincent was nothing more than a cash grab, and also somebody that can really support Amber until she gets on her own 2 feet. And it's really kind of sad because Vincent is really into her. And it's not that I don't think that Amber is into Vincent. I think that she cares for him because he cared for her. But the love that she has for Puppy, it's so much, it's so great that she's so different. Even just hearing her voice, that's the kind of reaction she should be having from Vincent if she's about to get married to him. I think that Vincent is just another means of survival, just like when she was selling drugs. When she was cutting up that coke or that meth or whatever, that was just a means of survival. Her tricking Vincent is just another means of survival. This is all this girl knows. Now let's get into Puppy's mother, who is very aware that her daughter is in love with Amber and that Amber is in love with her daughter. And dare I say, is she rooting for Puppy and Amber and like trying to get rid of Vincent? Because when Vincent went in there with her, she showed Puppy her room and she was just like, so what are y'all about to get into? I don't know if you guys know, but in the Black household, that's code for I'm ready for you to go. So when she said that, I was just like, okay, mother, I know exactly what you mean. She was ready for them to get up out of her house. But anyway, so she said that to them, and Vincent was just like, oh, we're just going to go on a nice little romantic dinner or whatever, and, you know, just going to have a good time. So she walks them both out, and then she pulls Amber to the side, and she's just like, don't do anything you don't want to do, honey. Whatever you don't feel comfortable doing, don't do it. So basically she was saying, listen, we know what this is. Like, I know you love my daughter, but, you know, I know that you got to show this dude that you really care about him so you can keep this support coming. But if you don't want to do it, don't do it. And then she gets her own little confessional and she's talking about how in love Puppy and Amber are. And I'm like, she knows this. Like, she is very aware. And she was just like, the way Amber talks about Puppy, she don't talk about Vincent like that. So mama know that her daughter is the bee's knees of the prison and of Amber's heart. You know, I was also watching this and I was just like, why is every prisoner getting paroled to Vegas? Like, what is it about Vegas? You know what? As I was saying it, I realized I've been to Vegas a few times. I'm not surprised that there are a lot of felons there. Not surprised at all. I'm Draya and LeMond, grateful Amazon, who I am grateful is a subscriber to my YouTube channel, actually asked me a very important question. And I say very important because I talked about it in my last review, but I didn't explain. She asked me how LeMond, a prisoner, is able to send Andrea money or like take care of her while he's in prison. This is how. LeMond, as we all know, is a drug kingpin. To get a name like that is because you have been extremely successful at dealing drugs and quite possibly guns. I don't think a lot of people are aware, but with drug dealing, if you're good at it, especially if you're a drug kingpin, you could be making up to $1 million a day. Drug trafficking is a huge, profitable problem in the United States of America alone. I don't know how it is anywhere else, but I know it's a huge, profitable issue in the United States of America. Thank you, Ronald Reagan. So for LeMond to get the name drug kingpin, it is because it has been confirmed that he has been very successful at dealing drugs and, like I said, possibly guns, because that comes with the territory. Here's how LeMond is sending money to Andrea. This is what happens with drug dealers, drug kingpins specifically. When they make a certain amount of money, they don't keep their money in the bank. You don't want to put your money somewhere that the government can watch, because then it gives the IRS an opportunity to look at your bank statements and be like, how are you able to pay for all of this and you don't have a job? How are you getting all this money? What is going on? Give the IRS a track record of your spending so they don't put their monies in banks. They put their money in safes, which is why drug dealers are always getting robbed. Like drug dealer houses, trap houses or whatever, they're always getting robbed because they don't keep their money in a bank. They keep their money in their trap houses, or they'll keep their money in an investment property, or they'll bury their money somewhere, or they'll keep their money in a safe. If they're extremely successful, they'll probably keep their money in banks in like foreign countries like Sweden or whatever. A lot of people do that. A lot of wealthy people do that. They hide their money from the United States government because they don't want to pay a certain amount of taxes, or they just don't want the government to know they're making this much money, because the government will start watching and looking and being like, what the hell is going on? Which is why a lot of wealthy people, if they ever go to prison, they go to prison for money laundering. No, he probably has money in several trap houses. He probably has money that he gave to Andrea before he went to prison, and she probably knows where a lot of his money is kept. So if Andrea has a need, LeMond could just be like, oh, go to this trap house, or go to one of my mansions in Florida, or go to my mansion in Jersey, and in the basement I got about $2.5 million. That's how they do. So their properties are always getting robbed. Their cars are always getting robbed, because if you in the streets, you know that drug dealers don't put their money in banks. You know that they keep their money wherever they frequent. So they won't put a house in their name. He will probably put a house in Andrea's name, and Andrea can use the front that she has this very successful glasses business, and LeMond could be fronting her the money to put into the bank to say that this is off of sale. So if the government wants to seize anything from LeMond, they can't, because nothing is in his name. But the boutique is his. You know what I mean? His name isn't on it. Andrea's name is on it, but he's paid for everything and he's funding it. Just like if he has a mansion in Daytona, it's not his name. He probably put it in his kid's name or his mama's name. He could be like, that's my mama's house. And the government could be looking like, well, how was your mother able to pay for that? That's where it gets tricky. Then you got to start doing stuff like insurance fraud. You got to pay a doctor to say that your mother hurt her leg or something at work, and you can see it was a result of that. So then she gets a payout from the bank, and you can say that this money accumulated. You just got to get real tricky, because the government is always watching. This is the thing. Drug dealers are never sent to jail, like especially kingpins. They're never sent to jail over drugs or over murder or any of those crimes that they really should be in prison for. They go to prison for money laundering, because if they're not careful, not smart about hiding their money in plain sight for the government, they catch it. They catch it every time. They were just like, this ain't adding up. You got a Bentley, you got a mansion, but you don't have a 9-to-5. So they'll do something smart, like create a record label. Which is why we got a lot of former drug dealers who are like successful rappers today, because they had to put their money into a business and somehow had a great talent and a great beat that everybody really rocked with, so they were able to get successful. Or they were some successful drug dealer who started a record label or a fashion label, or they do all that type of stuff. Which is why a lot of drug dealers will buy businesses for their girlfriends, because they need somewhere to hide the money. They got to explain how they are making this much money. They got to explain how they're paying for their house. They got to explain how they're paying for that. So they're just going to say, oh no, my girl is paying for everything. Her hair salon, her nail salon, her eyeglass boutique, her hair store, her fashion line. All of that is very successful. That's how we're able to live here. She's taking care of me, because they really don't have no receipts that he's funding everything. This is where Andrea and LeMond messed up, or just Andrea. She told the world that LeMond is funding her business from prison. That's where she messed up, because what's going to happen is, this is a very successful show. The DA going to see this. So you can take this back to court and be like, LeMond is funding this eyeglass boutique. How? Now you got to start explaining how you are sending her this money from prison. How are you sending her this money and you haven't had a job for 10 years? How are you doing it? Where is the money coming from? So they start questioning you, and then the next thing you know, you're in federal prison for defrauding the government. So LeMond may never get out. And don't ask me how I know any of this. Let's go from talking about one felon to talking about another, because remember in my last review, I told you guys, I watched this show blindly. Like, I don't like to go in knowing things just because I like my reactions to be pure. I want to be like shocked and gasp and laughing organically. I don't want to know anything before. Like, I'm not a spoilerless person. You know what I mean? Even if it's very clear to me that a storyline is fake, I still just want to enjoy the experience, right? But so many people in the comment section was just like, Nikki, Andrea is not a saint, honey. And I was like, very clear to me that Andrea was not a saint. I didn't know that she was a felon with 20 freaking mugshots. Like, this persona that she's putting on and that her family is putting on, I knew that the sisters were doing the most, but I didn't think that Andrea had 20 mugshots. Let's talk about it. So I was doing some digging. Shout out to Starcasm. And they have an article about Andrea and her 20 freaking mugshots. I'll put it in my description box as well. So I'm currently looking at all of Andrea's mugshots, okay? So the first mugshot is from March 8th, 2001. And her last mugshot is from May 28th, 2015. This girl has been getting locked up religiously for a solid 14 years. Like, what in the felon is happening here? How in the hell do you end up with 14 mugshots and you still continue to get out of prison? What are the charges? Petty theft, worthless check, possession of false ID, driving with a suspended license, petty theft again, grand theft, attempted arson. That was probably about a boyfriend. Grand theft again, public assistance fraud, and retail theft. So Andrea is a scammer. Andrea is a full-blown scammer. I'm not shocked. She looks like a Philadelphia scammer. All that was missing was the hoops. I just realized I didn't read all of her charges. I just read her charges up to October 20th, 2003. Let's keep going. Petty theft, grand theft, battery, theft, careless driving, theft, conspiracy to commit grand theft and resisting merchant, attempted robbery and battery. She was probably stealing clothes out of H&M and got caught by security. Oh my gosh. Ma'am, you are a professional thief. Well, not that professional. You keep on getting locked up. But like, how can you get a job? She had no choice but to date a drug dealer. What else was she gonna do? So she got mad at Sarcasm and she gonna post a picture on her Instagram, rags to riches with all her mugshots. Her and LeMond feel like this show is some kind of come up. But guys, I really think this wasn't smart of you to do because you were putting all your business out there. And I don't think these people realize that all these reality TV stars get locked up by the IRS because they are coming on TV talking about they have all of this money. And the IRS is like, how? How when you're not paying your taxes? That's another thing. They're not paying their taxes on this stuff. Oh, Jesus. Andrea, you and LeMond are going to end up in prison. This is what I'm getting in my spirit. I'm feeling it, sis. Why did y'all do this show? Ignorance. Also, if anybody knows this prison system thing, how was LeMond able to call her 17 times in a day? I thought they can get like one random call and they gotta like sign up to get that call. How was he able to call her 17 times? Is this normal or is this some drug kingpin stuff? Let's talk about it. Comment section, let me know. Real quick, let's talk about Lacey. She didn't have much of a storyline this episode. Like, we saw like little moments of her. But I do want to talk about this one thing. She was just like, the thing that attracted her to Shane was his voice. I was like, ma'am, Shane sounds like Yosemite Sam. Are you serious, Lacey? Because a lot of you told me that this storyline is fake, and I'm starting to believe you. I'm starting to think that Lacey came on here for the fame and for the followers as well, because she's a cam girl, and she's really trying to build her business. Because I went to her Twitter, and she is promoting everything that she does, everything about Love and After Lockup. She is promoting her OnlyFans account. So I'm just like, sis, you and Andrea doing the same damn thing. Y'all scamming for followers. Ain't none of this stuff real. Because I feel like, I don't know. We'll maybe see later in the season. But I'm just like, I think that Shane and Homeboy know about each other. I'm not believing this. I am not believing this. And then also, she was driving to go see Shane She stopped at a hotel and spent the night there, and then she went to go see Shane in the same damn thing. I was just like, there was a shower there. Did you not intend to shower? Did you not intend to stop? You were driving 7 hours and you were picking him up the next day. So you knew that you were going to stop somewhere. Like, girl, you didn't want to bathe before you seen him. You didn't want to change your panties. You just showed up in the same damn thing. But you know what? It's Shane. He ain't going to care. Angela and Tony. Man, I feel sorry for her. I really, really do. But real quick, can we talk about how Angela... I would not be surprised if her and Jenny from 90 Day Fiancé are sisters, because they look so much alike and they make the same poor decisions concerning men. But I remember when I was taking notes for this episode, I kept on writing Jenny and I was like, it's Angela. It's Angela. They are so similar in a frightful way. So Miss Angela shows up to get her young babe, Tony. He was getting dropped off somewhere and mother was dressed to the nines to pick him up. She was in some bodycon dress with this crochet shawl and these Mary J. Blige boots. I was just like, you look like a hooker and an usher in the same damn outfit. It was a lot. A lot was going on with this outfit. But I was happy for her that she was finally, getting a chance to see her man. So this van pulls up and she walks up to the van and she's like, oh my goodness, is this him? Is this him? And this black man gets out. So she starts talking to him and she's just like, oh, I thought you were my inmate. And this brother looks at her and he just keeps on walking like he did not even hear this woman. And I'm like, Angela, what did you think was going to happen? You walking up to this man looking like a Christian hooker and asking him if he was an inmate. Like, I would have did the same thing. I would have kept on walking as well, because you didn't look like you were in your right mind. And then we finally get to meet Tony. Can I just say, when he hopped out of that van and he was a whole 5'7", I was shook. Ain't nothing wrong with 5'7", but I don't know why I imagined Tony to be so tall. I don't know where I got this idea of him from, but when he hopped out and he hugged, I was gonna say Jenny, and he hugged Angela and his head was like peeking over her shoulder, I was just like, Tony. Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room. Tony is not attracted to Angela. He is not attracted to Angela. He is clearly scamming, because when they got in the car and she was rubbing up on him, he looked so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable. Like, even their first kiss, it just looked like he wanted to look at the camera and say, help me. He is not into Angela, and I feel so bad because she was so excited to see him. She waited 2 seasons for this dude, and she finally gets to see Tony, and he just can't even fake chemistry. He cannot fake chemistry. He cannot fake attraction with this woman. She's just like, ooh, are you going to take off your shirt? I want to see your body. Ooh, ooh, ooh. And he's like, oh, you'll see it later. I've been a virgin in prison. I'm ready to have some sex. He was so disgusted. And then when this woman, I felt bad for her. She said to him, what are you ready for? Steak or BJ? Tony didn't miss a beat. He said steak. This man has been in prison 4 years. This straight man has been in prison for 4 years. This woman that's been holding him down, that they've been doing all this sexy talk to, asked him if he would either take a blowjob or a steak. A blowjob from her or a steak. And he said a steak. Ma'am, let him go. You were getting played on national TV. Cut your losses now. Cut your losses now before you get really embarrassed by the end of the season. And this is what I think is going to happen. I think she's going to just finally realize that Tony is not into her. Either 2 things are going to happen. Either she's going to realize that Tony isn't into her because he's probably flirting with other women or sleeping with other women, or she's going to try to rationalize why he's not into her or why he's cheating on her and still try to make it work with him, because Tony is not going to let her go because he doesn't have a job. He doesn't have anything set up. He's going to need Angela to take care of him. So I think he's going to keep this up as long as she's willing. And I think she's willing. Oh my goodness. She want to wrap the Mary J. Blige boots around that man, and he don't want no parts. No parts. Lizzie and Daniel. Can I tell you guys, when I saw this couple, I was just like, did I change the channel to Teen Mom? Because this looked like that Teen Mom couple I don't know what their names are, but they gave their daughter up for adoption. Then they got married and had another baby, and now they look all of 52. Both of them. I was just like, oh, that one baby in this TV show aged you guys a good 30 years. But that's what I thought it was. I was like, is this Teen Mom? Lizzie, I'm very concerned about her. I'm very, very concerned because she seems to be on a good track. At least that's what it appears to be. And I'm very concerned about her because I feel like she is the type of woman who is heavily influenced by the men in her life, the men that she is in relationships with, that make very poor decisions. So she'll follow them down the wrong path, because she was explaining how both of her boyfriends got her into drugs. One introduced her to weed, and I think another one introduced her to like pills or something or whatever. And she ended up getting addicted to pills, but now she's clean. She's in school full time. She's really, she has really gotten back on track, and she has reclaimed her life. However, she's in love with Daniel, who is a recovering meth addict. And he started smoking meth at 16. Can I just say, when Daniel said, I got hooked on meth the ghetto way, I started smoking it through a light bulb, I was like, what ghetto is this? What ghetto? I have never in my life heard of that before. It actually scared me how nonchalant. He was like, yeah, I just did it the ghetto way. I just smoked it out of the back of a light bulb. I was just like, oh my gosh, at 16? What the hell was going on in your life at 16 that you decided to turn to meth? Especially, can we be real, guys? After Dare, any kid who grew up with Dare, or you came up after Dare, we know about drugs. We know about drugs. That is taught in schools on a daily basis. We are not shocked. We live, especially if you're from the hood, you live in an area where you see meth addicts and crack addicts and pill addicts on a daily basis. So this is not new to us. You are exposed to this. So to want to end up like that, or to be like that person on the corner, or to do the same thing that that person who is selling themselves outside of a 7-Eleven is doing, something was going on, because the drug, the addiction, is the result of the pain. Something happened to Daniel to make him turn to meth at 16. At 16. That's why I'm concerned for Lizzie. I don't think that he's a good fit for her. I really don't, because he's a recovering meth addict because he's in prison. So I'm assuming. We didn't hear that he got clean before he went to prison. We actually heard that she was hanging out at her home. He was there. She shared an apartment at that time with 2 drug dealers. One was dealing meth. They raided the house. They found drugs on everybody but her, and she got hit with an association charge. So she basically said, I was guilty by association. And Daniel was picked up because he had drugs on him. Obviously, he was doing drugs when they were still together, and she was okay with it, but she wasn't doing it. She was saying that she was clean when she was with Daniel, but I don't believe that. I feel like she got clean after Daniel went to prison, because the toxic person in her life was no longer there to influence her in a negative way. That's what I think happened. And I think that's why her sister is so concerned, and she does not want her sister to get back involved with him, because she's living clean, she's doing well, and she sees Daniel as a toxic person in her life. Since we're talking about Lizzie's sister, can we talk about how Lizzie lied on her sister? Because her sister is talking to her, trying to convince her to not get back with Daniel, or to just interact with him when he gets out of prison. And, she's concerned. She's just really being a concerned big sister. So Daniel calls, and then Lizzie is just like, oh, she's basically saying that you're a terrible person and I shouldn't be with you. And I was just like, your sister said none of that. Everything she said was about you, and she was concerned if you guys got back together that you were relapse. Watching this like, girl, why would you embellish so much? So now Daniel got beef with her sister because he thinks that her sister hates him. Her sister doesn't hate him. She just loves her sister and doesn't want to lose her again. I'm looking at her like, Lizzie, you threw your sister under the bus for what? And here's the thing that confuses me about Lizzie. So Daniel is just like, she hasn't seen me for 3 years. Lizzie is like, well, I haven't seen him for 3 years because if I leave to go visit Daniel in prison, I miss time at work. And missing time at work means that I don't make any money. If I go to see Daniel in prison, I miss time at school. And if I miss time at school, I start to fall behind. So she seems to have a good head on her shoulders. But then a guy like Daniel is an option. Not saying that Daniel is a bad guy, but if you're a recovering addict, I don't think you need to be getting with another one who only got clean because he went to prison. He can say all that stuff. He can say that, oh, I ain't messing with that stuff no more. I'm not doing that stuff no more. As a child of an addict, I have heard it all. My dad got clean when he wanted to. Prison kept him clean, but that was while he was in prison. When he got out of prison, he went right back to the drugs that he was doing. My dad got clean when he went to therapy and he started dealing with the issues that was making him go after drugs. Daniel got to get some therapy. Is he getting therapy in prison? If he starts talking about, yeah, well, I realized why I was doing that and I'm working on these issues, I still don't think they should be together, but maybe he could be an option in the future when you see that he's been clean for a while, when you see that he's holding down a good job, when you see that he's making good decisions. But right now, girl, fresh out of prison, meth, you don't want to go down that road. Thank God that you were able to stop at pills because, baby, meth will not only take your looks, it will take your soul. And you might not be able to get either of them back. Definitely won't get your looks back. I have never seen anybody come back from meth physically. You start doing meth and you get to that crypt keeper point of doing meth. I haven't seen anybody come back from that. I don't care how much makeup you use, how many tracks you put in. It's still a meth resemblance. Lizzie, I'm concerned. And Daniel seems like a really nice guy, but he has issues. And from what I've seen, I don't think he's dealt with them. On next week's episode, it was alluded that Lizzie has a secret that she's keeping from Daniel, and we'll either find out the next episode or we'll find out sometime later in the season. And guys, here's my theory. I think what she's keeping from Daniel is that she's pregnant. Here is why. We have never seen a full body shot of Lizzie. If we have seen a full body shot of her, she is in a big coat, even when other people around her in the scene are not. She's either in a huge coat or in a huge sweatshirt. And if we do get a close-up shot of her, it's either from behind or she's sitting down with something covering her stomach. I think Lizzie's secret is that she's pregnant by another man. And she doesn't know how to tell Daniel. Maybe that's what kept her clean, getting pregnant, you know? Maybe that's it. That happens to a lot of people. Some people use while they're pregnant. Some people get pregnant and it's just like, I got to get myself together for this baby. Maybe that's what it is. But Lizzie, I don't know. She confuses me. She seems like she makes good decisions and then she seems like she makes one big horrible one that sets her life back so drastically. Like, why else would she be walking around looking like a teenager trying to hide their pregnancy from their parents? She was dressing caught my eye. I'm looking at her like, why are you in this huge windbreaker and your sister is sitting here in a t-shirt? Like, what? Is it the same weather where you two are standing? What's going on? And then I was like, oh, she's pregnant. I could be wrong. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that the secret that Lizzie is hiding from Daniel is that she's pregnant, or do you think it's something else? Let me know in the comment section below. So that's it for me. That was my review. I'm sorry that it's a bit lengthy this time. I'm going to try to keep these reviews short, but it's a bit lengthy this time because I was talking about some things that I found out about the cast members and then a bit from Love After Lockup or Life After Lockup. Yes, a bit from Life After Lockup. So it's a little bit lengthy, but next week I'll try to keep this a little bit short. I know a few of you prefer them to be long, but I know a lot of you guys are busy and, you know, sometimes you want to get in and get out, get a laugh and get out. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by. And if you like what you see here, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Guys, please share this video, like it, and subscribe if you like the content. But I just want you, if subscribing ain't your thing, I get it. I have a YouTube channel. There are some people's stuff that I like, but I'm just like, I don't want all this in my feed. So I understand. I'm not hating on that. But just make sure you give your girl a like and make sure you give a share because there might be somebody in your sharing community that would like my videos and appreciate it over here. So thank you so much for stopping by, and I will see you next week for the following episode of Love After Lockup. Bye, guys.